Welcome back to the channel. My name's Adam Smith, and today I'm very excited to be showing you a Tinkering Paws insert for Marvel United Multiverse. Now, this was the third campaign for Marvel United, and this one had a ton of content. I believe there was around 21 to 22 pieces that came in the all-in pledge in terms of a core box. There was also Kickstarter rewards, there was also add-ons, there was expansion boxes, and it totaled up to about 22 or 21 individual pieces, which have now all been condensed down thanks to the insert from Tinkering Paws to just these 7 boxes. So if you're like me and you like the idea of saving shelf space and getting things condensed down to a spot where they're ready to play that much faster for these larger all-in pledges, this is definitely going to be the ticket. It's also worth mentioning you can either pick up the actual insert printed and delivered to you, or you can actually go after the STL files if you already have a 3D printer. I don't currently have a 3D printer, but that would be awesome. So the purpose of this video is to help you make an informed decision as to whether or not this storage solution is for you. You'll get to see the storage solution in each one of these boxes as I go through the video. Also worth mentioning, if you are interested in picking this one up, I'll have a 10% off coupon in the pinned comment and video description for my community as a thank you back to you guys. So without further ado, let's start with the very first box and we'll move our way through. Let's start things off with the Multiverse core box. As we get inside the box, you can see a bright green insert, and that's because I've chosen that specific color. You have the option to choose the color if they print it for you. Of course, you have the STL files. You'll be printing it based on the color you want. For me, I always tie my color in thematically with the game, so I thought a nice bright green would work really well for Multiverse. So on the very top of the box, we got the dashboards here. These are the thin ones, and then we have some of the thicker cardboard ones at the bottom and some of the thin ones on top. Because again, if you get the all-in pledge, you have not only the included kind of thin ones, but you get these really thick cardboard ones at the bottom. They basically all go in a nice hex pattern right on top, and then we got a whole bunch of cards. Now, as we go through this, I have not done any sorting of the cards yet, but the organizer includes awesome dividers. You can divide everything up once you open stuff up. I want to open it as I actually enjoy the game. And as I have 3 campaigns worth of Marvel United so far, and I'm still working through season 1 in its entirety, and I'm going to be doing that with my kids, it's basically going to be a project that happens later on down the line to actually organize the inside of these boxes. But I'll let you know that from prior inserts from Tinkering Paws, they do a fantastic job of dividing up all of these things so you can have all the heroes by letter organized in these boxes. Also worth mentioning, you can choose if the insert total, in terms of the total number of boxes, is going to allow for 100 micron sleeving or not. So if you're not a sleever, you actually will have less boxes overall to have to deal with. You won't even have 7, you'll have less. You need a couple extra because if you want to sleeve, it's going to balloon the size of the number of cards in the game, of course. And so for me, I went with the sleeving option and I've got myself 7 boxes. I believe if you don't sleeve, it might be reduced to 5 or 6. Here's an example of some of the dividers that are used for the mini cards, which will be on the left-hand side of the box. And you'll also note something about this design, which I like quite a bit, is the fact that they've risen up the boxes. Because again, Marvel United has a lot of small, very low-riding boxes. They're not very deep. So the insert design basically puts these corner pieces in that elevate up the actual box itself. So there's a little bit of lid lift to about 4 of the boxes to allow for a lot more storage space. For the full-blown insert on my 7 boxes, 3 of the boxes have about 1 centimeter to 1.5 centimeter lid lift, and then one of the boxes probably has more like a 2.5 centimeter lid lift. It's a little more aggressive, but all of them can be vertical, and you don't have to worry about things going all over the place, and that absolutely is a win because I love storing my games on the shelf vertical so that the artwork can be displayed. Now let's check out the War of Kings box. There's another one with lid lift, but again, it's around 1 centimeter or so, very minor. Inside the box is a number of miniatures. It's not all the miniatures in the game. There's another box that primarily holds most of the miniatures, but this is kind of an additional box. And they're done based on a track system, which is really easy to deal with. So essentially, if you want to pull things out, you take both tracks, pull them out. And when you separate them like so, you have easy access to any of the actual figures that you want to pull out. And they just go in and out of the track system with ease, which is quite nice. You can just take it, you can slide it back into position like so. You can pop those down and you can pull them out as you need to. So here's a look at one of the other trays of miniatures. You'll see some space in there even, and we'll go ahead and just take out ones we need. So if you need a certain miniature, just pull it through. And some miniatures might be large and kind of have a wing off to the side. You might have to do a little bit of a rotate in order to get 1 or 2 of them out. But honestly, this track system is awesome because it means no matter if you're storing this entire box horizontal or vertical, everything is going to stay exactly where it is. And you're not going to have to worry about any kind of issues, even if the box takes a tumble. We now head into box number 3, and this is a primary one for the insert. Houses a lot of things you'll be using quite often. This is stored inside the Coming of Galactus box, and you can see here all of the fancy add-on tokens, which are made of plastic, are in this one in 2 trays. So as soon as you want to start playing, you just take these trays out, drop them on the game table, and you've got everything you need to get going, which is awesome. You also have instant access to all of the different heavy stock cardboard tiles for the game. Of course, those are the fancier versions than the paper thin ones that come otherwise. And then you've got the team decks here up top as well. Now down the side of this, if you actually remove this side tray out, there's a longer, thinner tray here with a couple larger tokens inside of it. You can make use of that how you wish. But way down below, there's a couple more plastic-based inserts. There's actually 2 more. There's another one down even further, but you can just reach down and grab them and pull them out. And these, again, are going to store some more of the plastic tokens. So you got majorly everything you need here as part of the fancy additions to the game. With both token trays out of there, you'll also see all the character dashboard and villain dashboards down below, organized into 2 trays that are easily accessible and can be organized to your liking. So boxes like this are a perfect example of how Tinkering Paws is maximizing the amount of storage space possible while also making it really easy to organize. That helps with setup and teardown. This is one of my favorite insert boxes from the entire 7. We're now headed into box number 4, which is the Multiverse box. This is the deepest and biggest box of all 7 of the insert, and you can see here on the right-hand side, we have a lot more regular-sized miniatures. These are 3-tier deep down, so this is all on the right-hand side, straight down to the bottom, just full of miniatures. Now, you can organize them however you want, but you can use the PDF or the video on their site to determine what individuals go where, but you can also just sit there and say, well, I like this expansion's worth of miniatures to be in this tray, maybe on the right, and the other expansion over here. So you can break up each individual tray per expansion if you want to do that, or you can just kind of follow an idea of clumping heroes or maybe different types of miniatures together, like heroes, villains, that kind of thing. And the insert goes all the way down. You'll also see the massive miniatures having their own space as well, so you no longer have to store these things off the side. You have them right inside the box. Now, if we go ahead and take out the big miniature here on the left, which is slid in by its base and locked in position, the head is resting in this upper section here. Really cool 2-part system that actually keeps that thing basically hovering over top of the other larger miniatures, which are at the bottom there. Again, the tray design, very custom and very awesome, especially if you're the type of person that likes painting things. You can ensure things are kind of in their spots and that things are going to be happy, nothing's going to get beat up. Now, you can see the tiered system here. I'm not going to take every single one of these out because as you go along, you're just going to see a lot more of the same, but I will take the first level out for you. You can see as I break it apart, there's more miniatures down below. That actually looks like a gigantic cluster, but that's just because I have a couple really big tall ones that look like 2 or 3. This one right here is actually 2 miniatures in 1. So it kind of looks like the lines are being blurred there, but they're actually all in their tracks. And I could simply just pull this out right now and show you that. So if we lift this straight out, let's see if I can grab the good angle on this one because it's a little bit deeper, and then pull it apart. There it is. You can see it divides evenly and easily. So if you need certain miniatures from certain sides, you've got everything you need. So at the end of the day, you have to look across 2 boxes to find miniatures versus, I don't even know how many there were with miniatures in the original send out, probably around 12 to 15 boxes worth of miniatures. So just having everything in one space, and of course, if you organize these trays and maybe even label the trays, you can make your life a lot easier because you'll know exactly which miniatures are sitting in which trays. You can grab exactly what you need and only that when you play. Moving on to the 5th box, this uses a box that came from retail. So you have to pick this one up separately from your all-in pledge, but this will allow you to go ahead and have additional space for cards. As you can see right now, a lot of this is just completely empty right now, but as I sleeve things, if I choose to do so in the future, which I'm planning to, I'll have all the room necessary to get cards in. Next up is box number 6, Civil War. This one has an insert that houses all the cardboard tokens. These will be an exact duplication of what you have with the plastic tokens that you saw in a prior insert box I already showed you. So obviously you'll have the cardboard tokens if you picked up the plastic ones, and this provides a space for all of them to sit in 2 separate trays as well. And then if you remove these 2 trays underneath, you have a space to place all of the thinner cardstock stuff like locations and the character dashboards for the heroes as well as the villains. You also have some really creative space cutouts here for some of the other expansion content gameplay elements. And then you even have like the pets area here. So this is where Tinkering Paws goes over and above, finding areas like little nooks and crannies to make use of to store different components, which I really like. And then you've got all the pamphlets and rule books, everything, all the rule books that sit on the very top of this when it's closed. Last but not least, we have box number 7. This is the Annihilation box, and you can clearly see this is all about cards. So this is probably, I think, the 3rd box worth of card storage. And again, if you're going with the sleeved version of the insert, which I did, then allows you to sleeve everything at 100 microns and have space for all of it. If you're not going to bother with sleeves, you're not going to need probably 2 of these boxes worth, which will condense things down to, I believe, 5, if I'm not mistaken. Someone can let me know in the comments below if I'm off on that, but you can find that information out right on the Tinkering Paws site. You can also see all the dividers here. These are really handy because you can divide things up by general cards, the team decks. You also have every single letter of the alphabet. You also have per expansion, companions, everything's in here. So when you actually use these dividers across all 3 of the boxes, in my case, I'm going to have everything organized, which means when I open a box, I'll know exactly where to look to find things. And these are raised up to be above the level of the cards. And then, my friends, going to wrap up the featured product video, checking out the Tinkering Paws insert from Marvel United Multiverse. I'm very happy with this, especially after condensing down, as I mentioned, about 20 to 21 pieces that came as part of the campaign in the form of different boxes and varying sizes of boxes as well, down to just these 7. A lot more manageable. There's still a lot of content here to go through. It's a massive campaign worth of content that delivered, but it's so nice to have things organized in a way that I can actually get it to the table and it doesn't feel overwhelming. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you are interested in this insert, you'll find a link to the insert in the pinned comment and video description, as well as a coupon code there, which is valid for 2 weeks, so you can pick it up at 10% off. So you can get the insert in its physical form, or you can go after the STL files, whichever suits your fancy. And also worth mentioning, I would love to know in the comments down below, those of you that either have the insert already, what you think of it, and also just for those playing Marvel United Multiverse, what do you think of the game overall? And do you think this insert would be beneficial to those that have the all-in pledge? Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, keep on rolling solo.